one question going into this weekend. It's not that can you win. It's not can you do X, Y, or Z, even though I have my opinions of what I want to see. I want to see LSU offensively get vertical. I want to see them run the ball more consistently, continue to be as dominant as you were last Saturday on defense. For me, none of that matters. Stay consistent. Continue every week like you've been preaching and like you've been talking. Go 1-0 every week. I thought the biggest thing that Brian Kelly has said, one of the top things that Brian Kelly has said in his entire tenure at LSU since he's taken the podium, I think it came this week. He said in his press conference on Monday, the mantra, what we talked about in the beginning of the year, was being 1-0. Every bit of their actions has shown that. The Clemson thing all over the 1-0 in the locker room, in the weight room. We're only focusing on Clemson week 1. We got our preparation for 3 weeks down. We're going into this season every single week. We want to be 1-0. Stay consistent. It's the only thing that I want you to see. Do I think that you're going to get some fresh young bodies in there? Some rookies, if you will, that are new to this? Are you going to play a little bit more base defensively and not send the heat? Try to get home with 4? Let's go man-to-man coverage. We got better athletes. Let's go get this. Maybe you do send the heat. I don't know. But what I do know is I want to see the same intensity that I saw last Saturday that I see in this one. Because in 2 weeks, guys, in my humble opinion, you do have a pretty primetime top 10 matchup with Florida and LSU in town. The team that will stay the most consistent will find themselves 3-0 like Florida's trying to do. Florida beats the top 3 LSU, and some people, the AP poll, has them in the top 10 already. Then you start getting into a situation when you look at this, LSU really a contender, Florida really a contender. Because if Florida comes in here and wins, I don't think that they are. Florida comes in here and wins, then things have really gotten after Billy Napier. All of that being said, you got to worry about this one opponent. Everything else will be when it is going to happen. Next week, you worry about Florida. This week, we worry about Louisiana Tech. And the biggest thing that Brian Kelly has said, not only to be 1-0 every week, it is that, listen, the biggest practice that we've had at my time at LSU comes on Tuesday. Or comes today, is what he's saying. Came on Tuesday. We're going to be tough on the guys. I already told them in a meeting that I'm going to be tough on them this week. And to every single one of those players, the only reason that he is doing that and acting like that after you win week 1 is because, listen, he thinks that you're going to be very special. Are you going to get behind him and row in the same direction? Are you going to burn your ships at the shore like you did last Saturday? Guys, if you do that, a lot of people had you going 2-2 leaving the month of September. Just the truth. Our good friends over at FanDuel's got you at win total over under 8.5. It's where they saw you. That line kind of shot up a little bit here too, by the way, if you want to see it. Now it's 9.5. Funny how things work. But in the beginning of the season, a lot of people, for you to go 8-4, that might have had to happen. Question remains is who are you? Now, we're going to do a deep dive on Louisiana Tech tonight. Things that I think when I look at them, what are their biggest weaknesses? What are the things that you can do to them? Let's look at who they are from a personnel standpoint. We're getting up to all of that here tonight. If you are who you are, you'll go out there and dominate like we know that you can. All right, let's get to a couple questions here. Our good friends over at Blue Tech Blue has hit the retweet button. Well, that's because Ben Carile is going to be here tonight. Ben Carile is going to be here tonight, and we're going to preview this LSU Louisiana Tech matchup. Good and glad that he will be here with us. Adam says, listening from the 256 enemy territory, North Alabama. Stand up. It's going to be a good week for the Tigers. Yeah, man, I got to tell you, I love North Alabama in reference to like all the trees, and they got a Buc-ee's when I'm going to, Georgia to see my brother and sisters. I like North Alabama, to be honest with you. Love that area. It's a really, really good place. Matthew Allen says, go Dogs. I guess we got a Georgia dude up in here. Oh, man. Oh, no. It's the LSU one, baby. Might be seeing y'all in December. Kieran says, Lockport, Louisiana, good to have you in here. J-Smex, as always, in the 337. J-Smex, I didn't get your email if you sent one. Did not get an email that you said you were going to send. Bryce says the 225 Livonia is in the building. The Fighting Patrick Queens are in the building. Is that the best prospect to ever come out of Livonia, by the way? I'm not a Livonia historian, but I knew everybody knows Patrick Queen. So it is what it is. Colby Robinson said 337 Lake Charles, stand up, like our good friends over at Henderson Tractors and Power Sports. Get over there today. But good to have the 337. Paul says, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think game day will be here for Florida. Yes, I do agree with you if you win against Louisiana Tech. It's just the truth. You got to beat Louisiana Tech before you do that. Let's just be real. Because then they won't be here. They're going to Georgia, Tennessee if that happens. It is what it is. All right. Let's get moving here. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do a deep dive on Louisiana Tech. Things that I think they do really well. Things that I think that you need to exploit and you need to attack. When we look at them, kind of give more of a preview than what we did yesterday. Real good look at your opponent this upcoming week. And Ben Carlisle joins us at 7:30. So really excited to have him on the show with us. Every episode is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. You can go to FanDuel today. LSU is a 37.5-point favorite over on FanDuel. Go sign up. Got discretionary income. Go over there. Sign up. Do what I'm doing. I'm just doing a $1 20-leg parlay every week, hoping it cashes out. Let's just go have a little fun. If you have the discretionary income, I always challenge you, if we're going to do these kind of live reads, you need to bet responsibly. And if you don't need to. Go over to FanDuel if you want to have a little fun. Place a little money on the game. It's all in good fun. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go over to FanDuel.com/RG for all of your questions today. Quick break, coming back, breaking down Louisiana Tech next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams, or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go, guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotions. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority. Let's get moving here. Just got a text from somebody who would be in the know. Maybe LSU is going to send some pressure this week. I don't know. Let's see what they do. I don't know if I believe them. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Louisiana Tech beat Southeastern Louisiana last week 24-0. And in that battle, there's a lot that I took away from in looking at LSU's next opponent. If Brian Kelly and the team's going to go 1-0, so are we. Every single week, who are we going up against? You see Louisiana Tech. You see what LSU just did. Man, they could barely beat Southeastern. You went on the road to a team like Clemson and won. What do we make of this? Well, the first thing that I make of that clearly pops out to me that I want to see going in this game is both interior offense and defensive line to get some serious push. I think last week, Josh Thompson did some good things. I thought Paul Mabinga did some good things. And I think that there were some times that they're going to want rips that they can take back. You played a really good team. And in that, the things that we need to look at is what are some of the things that you were not doing well in the run game? You did good enough. You did some really good things against a really good front seven. So you feel confident in some of these other games. Maybe you're not the most dynamic rushing attack in the country, but that you can get some things moving. The offensive line, specifically to me, and there were some times where Josh Thompson, have the clips if you need them, needs to take a little bit better stride. How does that offensive line continue to build? I think the reason you did some of the things that you did against Clemson was mainly due to the fact that you wanted to get the ball out quick for Garrett, and you didn't want to put him in third and long situations when you didn't know what this offensive line could do. You gave up 1 sack. You threw the ball over 30 times, but Garrett didn't go for 350 and 4 touchdowns. No. They played it a little bit more conservative into the vest. What I saw from Louisiana Tech on both lines of scrimmage in the interior, on both offense and defensive lines, I think that you just got to go prove that you can take it to them and have a really good day. Guys, if you're early and you're not explosive, I don't really care about that. What I care about is I want to see 61, who I thought played exceptional, 56, who had his moments against a really good defensive lineman, and Peter Woods. And I need to see Paul Mabinga to take that next step and continue to get better each and every week. I do think it's a weakness for Louisiana Tech on both interior offense and defensive lines. Based off of what I saw in week 1, it just wasn't there. LSU defensively, and to counteract that point, Southeastern was able to get a lot of pressure and get a lot of push in the interior. And I look at your interior defensive line like Don McKinley, and we have already now started to see some of you. I know that this has been posted all over Twitter, and I know LSU posted it on Twitter as well. Guys, Bernard Gooden had a day. Bernard Gooden was the talk of camp. And in that talk of camp, I don't know how many times that we had a conversation about him and said, guys, I said this, I have no idea what's going on with number 88. No clue. Zero clue what I'm actually seeing. 6 foot, 260, 265. He's playing defensive tackle, but my God, he's all over the place and he's dominating right now. That was the conversation that me and you were having. It got to a point where he was having so much success that every single narrative came out about the guards. And to be real with you, that was the massive talking point. What are you going to do at left guard? We're going to do a right guard? Oh, they think they might have an issue at right tackle. No, it's because Bernard Gooden went off. I want 88 to take that next step and show the world what he can continue to do. I think he put people on notice with Clemson. Just didn't have the quote-unquote massive plays, so no one's like, oh, Bernard Gooden this, Bernard Gooden that. No, he wreaked complete havoc. And he did it all camp, and he did it against Clemson. Do it here. And you're going to continue to go into that week 3 and be like, hey, man, at what point are teams going to stop and get with the program that 88 might be a problem? If Southeastern can get vertical in the run game, if they can get pressure in the interior of that Louisiana Tech offensive line, I think you can as well, and I think that's where they're the most vulnerable at the current moment offensively. Continue to stay with that point. I do think that there was something that we saw on film or I saw in Louisiana Tech that I really like with them. So they run this stack. They're going to run the 3-3-5. They're going to do a lot of different things and give you a lot of different looks. I think that their linebackers were really, really good in the game that I watched. I look at Mekhi Mason, number 9, who had 4.5 tackles for loss against Southeastern. He had 2 sacks. I think of Leoto, who had 3 tackles for loss. I think about, I know Brian Kelly brought up Kobe Fields. They were really good at the second level. And what's interesting to me is, do I think that your offensive line can get pushed and you can get this running game going? Actually, yes, I do. They have a lot of speed at their second level. A lot of speed. You think of a team like Louisiana Tech in the G5, and you're like, oh, man, it is what it is. You should be able to dominate them in all phases. And I'm with you. Doesn't mean that they don't have some dudes from Louisiana that can run. Doesn't mean that they don't have some athletes. This linebacking core has got some dudes on it. Some real dudes. Mekhi Mason, hello. Now, I don't know what his injury status is going to be going into the LSU game, if there even is one. There's one time he kind of limps off the field, looked a little bit shaken up. I know he kind of came back, whatever. We'll see. They got a lot of speed at linebacker. It's going to be interesting to see how you attack that. Do you just go brute force and run right at them? But one good thing that you saw, and even in week 1, those linebackers came to play, and they are shooting through gaps left and right to try to make and create negative plays in the run game. Southeastern was able to sustain some drives. They couldn't get into the red zone, and they couldn't get it into the end zone, mainly due to the fact those 3 linebackers absolutely flew all over the place, and they looked good doing it. Kobe Fields, once upon a time, was a kid that you took and did some things against you too. So that 3-3-5 stack, we'll see with all the exotic looks. What I am interested is when these teams that run this 3-3-5, how they send and try to generate pressure. Because they're not going to rush 3 all the time. At least I don't think they're going to rush 3 all the time. Maybe they do rush 3 because of Garrett. I don't know what Louisiana Tech's going to do here. What I saw them do against Frank Selfo and company at Southeastern was mainly a lot of things in reference to how they lined up on third down situations and really came after the quarterback. A lot of those sacks, a lot of those tackles for loss came in a situation where Southeastern was in a spot where, guys, they had no idea where it was coming from. Now, want a team to do some successful things against you? Blow pass protections. Because then when you have a free guy coming, they can be confusing. Don't let them be that go take it to them. Go take it to them early in the run game. Two more things here before we get to Ben Carlisle. I think their quarterback's a really good athlete. Had a lot of runs outside the pocket last week. I'm really intrigued to see what Blake Baker does against Louisiana Tech in this sense. You sent a shitload of pressure last week. You sent it from all over the place. Do you do that here? Southeastern did, and they had a lot of success. Why wouldn't you? Go be aggressive like you were. I know that sometimes you want to just play base, not like really show people a lot. If you show a lot, then they got to prepare for a lot too. You got Florida next week, and I'm not trying to look past an opponent at all. But I don't want you to look down on them, meaning Louisiana Tech. Just go take it to them. That interior, I thought of that offensive line, gave up a lot of pressures, forced a lot of rollouts, forced a lot of things. If it's me, I'm doing what I did last week. You don't have to call anything new. Just keep calling what you're calling. Send 7 off that edge where you can get the quarterback. Kick and run a little bit, so better keep contained. We'll get to this in Keys to Victory tomorrow. I think I need to attack the boundary. We're going to talk about this ad nauseum tomorrow, so just prepare yourself. Got to get vertical if you're LSU. You got to show teams that you can get vertical and that you can get vertical quick. I'm going to spend so much time on it tomorrow that I'm not going to bore you here. Got to get vertical, man. Got to get vertical. Baryon, Chris, Aaron, got to get more vertical to take some of this stuff. Teams are going to start crowding you, and I know that's what you're trying to invite. And Clemson never took the bait. They took the bait one time. And in that bait, Garrett hit the big bomb to Baryon that should have stood. Teams are going to come down on you if you're going to keep throwing screens. You got to show on film going into week and just into the season. You got to get Chris and you got to get Baryon vertical. Let's go take it to him. All right. Ben Carile joins us next. Let me get to a quick break. When we return, we continue to break down this Louisiana Tech team. We do that next. Stay with us. Brandon, hit the, yeah. Hey, Southwest Louisiana. Are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat? Go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. I didn't even add myself. I'm sorry. Ben Carlisle is our guest. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Oh, doing well, Blake. Appreciate you having me on tonight. Talk a little college football.
I greatly appreciate you coming on. You guys at Blue Tech Blue do a fantastic job, and I'm sorry for the mix-ups that we had the other night, but I'm so glad that you're joining us and looking forward to getting to the game with you. And I'll just ask you this. When you see Louisiana Tech last week, what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously you look at where this program's been the last, 3 or 4 years. I guess you got to go all the way back to 2019 when you're talking about the last winning season for this program. So it's been a little bit of a valley after a lot of success during Skip Holtz's tenure in Ruston. But I think the expectations coming into this year were that, Sonny Cumbie needed to get this program not only back to a bowl game, not only back to a winning season, but you needed to compete for a Conference USA championship here in 2025. And in week one, you watched the game, you've seen the film. I think it was very uneven early, especially offensively.
Mm.
Defensively, it was really good. I think, for so many years watching Louisiana Tech football, it's been a program that has identified itself on the offensive side of the ball, and that's
Right.
just not been the case going back to the beginning of 2024. So, really good performance defensively. It's not to say that they don't have any faults to their game, but it was a good performance for Luke Olson in his first game as defensive coordinator. And then offensively, with Trey Kukuk making his first career start, he's a junior college transfer. Tony Franklin's a new offensive coordinator. He hasn't been in the FBS game of football for 4 or 5 years now. I think we knew there would be some growing pains, but I think particularly throwing the football, that's an area that Louisiana Tech's got to clean up going forward.
People look at the game from last week and kind of see what you're talking about. Look, the first 7 possessions of the game, they couldn't really get anything established. Then there in the second half, they kind of start taking over. They win 24 and score 24 and a half, which if you can score 24 points in any half against anybody, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, I mean, this isn't like you're not supposed to do that. Do you think that this is first game kind of like feeling some things out in a half? Because it's a lot to, how do I want to say this? It's a lot to like take in the sense of, I don't want to overreact in week one to something, but I also don't want to underreact.
No, that's a good point. I think that we're kind of in that same boat as you are. You don't want to overreact. I think coming into the year, you knew that there would be some growing pains. The problem for Tech fans, and I mean, you could probably throw me into this category as well. The last memory we have of Tony Franklin was back in 2012 with the Tech offense that averaged 51 points a game. So they were expecting the scoreboard to light up. But
Right.
I tried to warn a lot of our subscribers that it wasn't necessarily going to be like that. Tony Franklin has really changed his style of offense. He wants to run the football first and foremost, and they weren't really able to establish a run game. I don't know that they necessarily established anything that they wanted to. I think they did show some glimpses those first 2 drives of that second half, but I think they got to get some things cleaned up, particularly along that offensive line. They struggled some with that Southeastern passing game. And then a wide receiver, we've talked about this at length at Bleed Tech Blue this week. Outside of your tight end, Eli Finley, who had 4 catches for 59 yards, he's a really good player. You only had 98 total yards on 20 touches amongst your wide receivers and running backs. So those guys have to improve production-wise. The receivers got to get more separation. But I do think it was expected in a sense that this offense was going to take some time to figure things out over the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year.
Were you surprised by the pressures that the O-line was giving up?
Honestly, yes. I mean, granted, we got to go out to fall camp 4 or 5 times this August and see those guys, and I think I had my concerns. I don't know that they were necessarily rooted from what I saw in fall camp as much as I just understand how hard it is to build an offensive line in the G5 these days. It's very, very difficult. You look in the transfer portal, if a guy can walk and chew gum, he's going to get a Power 4 offer. That's what it boils down to these days. But everything we kept hearing internally was how good this offensive line had been performing. Now, I think some of that could be, and I know we're going to get to the defense, I think some of that could be due to the defensive line that you're going up against every day. But I was just concerned with every time it felt like it was 3rd and 7, it felt like Southeastern got a pretty good pass rush, and either Trey Kukuk went down or he was flushed out of the pocket and
Right.
kind of had to figure some things out with his legs. But I was a little bit surprised just in the manner that, not that Southeastern dominated the football game, but there was no there wasn't ever a sense that Tech's offensive line was dominating the Southeastern defensive line.
Yeah, and listen, then you have LSU, which we'll get to this game too, and then LSU going out there and just like, oh, everybody's, oh shit, this defense might be back. So, by the way, they sent pressure on 89% of the time on passing downs. So, I mean, it's just like, please, dear God, like, don't just do it. Just let's get after them and let's see what happens. I do want to bring up, you talked about the defense a couple of times in there, but want to bring up to you, dude, am I crazy? I think y'all got serious speed at linebacker. This kid, Mason, I mean, good Lord.
No, it's a really good linebacking core. They were really good a season ago. I think you could make an argument they're, one of the top G5 linebacker units in the country. They would tell you that they're one of the tops in the entire country. I do think they're very good. You mentioned Mason. He's a transfer from Syracuse, a Florida kid. Didn't get a whole lot of time during his time at Syracuse. Last year, played in 12 games. I think he started 3 of those. So he played a good amount, but it feels like the last couple of weeks of fall camp going into this opener, he kind of turned a corner, and we saw that on Saturday night. And his production speaks for itself with 4.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. You guys are familiar with Colby Fields.
Yes.
He's had a really good couple of years in Ruston. And then Sifa Leota, he's a middle linebacker, started his career at North Texas. He kind of brings a little bit of an attitude to that defense.
Yes.
And they like to use him in some blitz stuff. That's probably where he's best utilized. I don't know that he's the greatest coverage linebacker out there, but it's a really good linebacking core. They got some depth to it as well. Benji Johnson's a transfer from Austin P that's been good. Jaden Mayfield's a kid from Ruston that's a redshirt freshman that's going to have a really good career. But they've done a really good job in that room, because there was a time from 2013 to probably up to 2022, 2023 where they couldn't get a whole lot of speed. But it feels like ever since they went to that 3-3-5 defense, you start moving some safeties, bulk those guys up, move them down into the box, and play linebacker, that they've been able to recruit that position significantly better.
Yeah, I mean, dude, having double or almost double digit, you're a half a tackle for loss for all 3 of them. I mean, listen, it is very apparent, I don't care who the opponent is, that they're all over the place. Southeastern ran the ball in the first half, and Leota hit the dude right in the hole, and I'm like, oh, he's going to bounce it outside from here on out. He ain't going in there for that smoke. And you're right. Like you talking about he's downhill, and he will get in your face. He ain't scared of nobody. And listen, LSU has struggled to run the football last season. I don't know if they necessarily struggled against Clemson, but it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Speaking of that, when you look at the game and how you foresee it going, what are some things that you look out for, Ben?
Well, I want to go back to that run game point for just a second. I thought an interesting part of the Southeastern game, and there's some question marks about Tech's defensive line. I think they got 8 or 9 new faces up front. They lost their top 7 guys from a season ago from a snap count perspective.
Brutal.
So it's a lot of new faces. I thought Southeastern, when they tried to go horizontal side to side, they really struggled to run the football.
Yes.
When they got north-south, I thought they got some movement along their offensive line and had a little bit more success. So I'm interested to see, now that you obviously take a large jump in competition, does that carry over? And if it does, obviously that bodes well throughout the remainder of your year as you get into Conference USA play. So that's an interesting point for me as you look at this matchup on Saturday. But talking about, keys for Louisiana Tech, I think offensively, if you're going to have success, which you watch LSU on film, you watch that game Saturday night, it's hard to we talked about this on our show last night. It's hard to see Louisiana Tech scoring, if I'm being honest with you. It's a really good defensive line. The linebackers speak for themselves. The secondary's much improved as well. But I think if you do have success, it's going to be because your offensive line holds up. In theory, you can move the pocket with Trey Kukuk and get him out on the edge. I don't know if you're going to be able to take half the field away just knowing that your receivers struggle to create any sort of separation in the true drop back game as it was. And then defensively, Luke Olson spoke a lot, and Tech's defense was really good a season ago they were really good a season ago they played a ton of zone coverage last year. Like, I think they played zone like 85, 90% of the time. Luke Olson played 50% man coverage at Jacksonville State. If you do that Saturday night, that's almost a recipe for disaster, if you ask me. I mean, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, I mean, all those guys. And you spoke about it earlier. LSU wants to get vertical in the passing game. That's one area that they feel like they need to improve. And so I'm interested to see what Louisiana Tech's game plan is, because I don't think you can go man-to-man in the secondary for 60 minutes.
Do you think Joe Sloan wants to make a statement here?
We asked that question last night. I don't know. I mean, if he did, I wouldn't be surprised. At the same time, I will say I think he deserved an opportunity to be the head coach here one day, and obviously that didn't happen. So if he does have a bit of an axe to grind, I could understand it. On the flip side of it, I know he has a ton of respect for Louisiana Tech. But, guys, I'll be honest, I don't know how Louisiana Tech slows down LSU, whether they are running the football or throwing the football. And that's just how much respect and how much watching that game the other night. I think LSU's program has kind of gotten over that hump. And you mentioned their defense. I thought defensively that looked like a throwback mid-2000s defensive line that the Tigers do have.
Yeah, it was interesting because, I didn't really pump this out there, but my question's been all week. And look, we're at Wednesday. This is how crazy football season works. We're already at Wednesday. You get to a point, Ben, where I'm just literally asking, does Sloan want to kind of, because coaches are funny,
No, they are. No, I agree.
They're completely funny. And listen, you want to, after all the shit he took this offseason, you can't run the football. Garrett can't make it. Okay, I'm going to watch. And I think he answered some of those questions. I thought he was in his bag really a lot against Clemson. I mean, that's a really good defense you're facing. So, look, we'll see there. Something I want to bring up to you, and I got a special question for it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to ask you this. Is there something that you just want to see, like Tech has success with this here?
As far as this game?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, you hate to use the line, go out and compete and play hard. Like, I'm not one of those guys. Like, don't show up to the post-game press conference and say, I'm proud of the guys for playing hard. Like, I think in an ideal world, if you got to halftime and it was, 21-14, or let's say a 7-point game, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. Obviously, I think LSU is going to win the football game, but I think offensively, you have to see improvement. Like, whether that's throwing the football or running the football, as a fan, as a guy that covers the team, Blake, I can't watch this offense score 20 points a game during 2025. Like, I can't do it again.
Oh, no.
Like, I like good defensive football. I do. But, like, you don't buy tickets to go watch the defense, especially in G5 football. Like, that's just not how it works. And at the end of the day, hey, we won 8 games. We're 8-4. But you've heard Sean Fox say it. If you're boring, it's one thing. If you're bad, it's another thing. If you're boring and you're bad, that's when you got some issues. And so I just think this offense has to take a step forward and show some sort of a pulse consistently throughout the duration of a game.
I agree with that. And listen, I'm old enough to remember, because I was standing on the sidelines, that 2019 team let Northwestern State go up 14-7.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen.
It does happen. And we take a look at all these different statistics about things that happen in games. Like Brian Kelly, in his tenure in Baton Rouge, he kills G5 programs. Maybe that's a little bit of a motivation for Louisiana Tech. Be the team that gets it into the third quarter and it's somewhat competitive. I mean, you're obviously looking for small victories, and I don't want to come off negative towards Louisiana Tech, but, I mean, it's a really tall task on Saturday night.
Ben Carlisle, Blue Tech Blue, I got to ask you one question before we get out of here. Football fans are about to get pissed. What's Tech going to do in baseball this year?
I think it's a bounce-back year. They've been to 3 regionals in 5 years. Last year was a bit of a down year, 32-25, but a lot of returning talent. They've added some guys through the portal and that pitching staff. I think they'll be back in a regional in 2026, if I'm being honest.
I'll never, ever forget the game. Jay Johnson's first year where we go up to Ruston and y'all win. And I'm just
That
like,
was an electric atmosphere. I don't listen.
it was good, brother.
I have a ton of respect for Jay Johnson. I don't know if he brings his team back to Ruston during his tenure in Baton Rouge.
All right. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to say who told me. After the game, I heard from a little birdie that he was pissed. He's like, they were on my ass all night. He's like, good Lord. Some teams in the SEC are on my ass as much as Tech fans were on my ass. He's like, never again. And I'm like, okay.
I got to give Louisiana Tech a lot of credit. We don't have a lot of great environments when it comes to football and basketball. We have a really good baseball environment. The stadium's perfect for the amount of people that you get out to the ballpark. And,
right.
When Ole Miss came to town, it was electric. We've obviously had some run-ins with them a couple of years ago, hosted Arkansas in a 3-game series. It's a really fun place to watch a game. It's the electric offensive ballpark as well.
Very much so. By the way, that game last year, I forget who was against, like 19 runs between the both of them.
Yeah.
Good Lord. It was fun baseball, man. Some fun baseball. All right. Tell everybody where they can catch y'all stuff this week. I know that y'all are already doing a whole bunch of stuff, but tell everybody where they can catch it.
Yeah, bleedtapeblue.com. It's just $11.99 a month. Of course, we're a part of the On 3 Rivals Network. Have had a really good transition over there starting on July 1st. Like you said, we'll have all our coverage right there at bleedtapeblue.com. Had a really good interview, obviously, last night with you. Also had Director of Football Operations at LSU, John Randall Belton. He's a Louisiana Tech alum. Of course, you guys know that. It was good to visit with him. He's a good friend of mine. And you can catch us bleedtapeblue.com.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, of all two people to be on the show at that exact time, I might have just sent a little text and been like, hey man, we're both really popular, and then he just said, yeah, you got it. You got to do it. He loves that place.
No, he really does. He really does.
Yes. So thank you so much, Ben. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate it, man.
All right. That's Ben Carile. Awesome. Guys, they really do an awesome job. I'm glad he was able to stop by. Look, a lot of things that we talked about in the open. I thought Ben said it best himself. I think that there are some things, like we just mentioned in the deep dive, and then what he just brought up, that just correlate in what you need to go out there and do. All right. We have some super chats. When we come back from the break, we'll talk and preview a little bit of the SEC. We'll take some of your thoughts, questions, concerns, and those super chats when we come back. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
We're back.
All right. Need to bring them up to our good friends over at Service Hawk Digital Media and Service Hawk Digital Marketing, where you soar above the competition. Guys, right lead, smart systems, and real growth. You need to get a marketing system that works for you today. If you're an HVAC, electrical pro, generator pro, or you're just looking to get your marketing team under control, you need to go over to our good friends over at Service Hawk by going, to their website, servicehawk.io.com today. All right. Cajun Curveball says, great job on the win, BK, but we got to start deferring kickoffs when we have a top 5 or 10 defense. I can't with that shizite. Guys, it never really worries me. I think in big games, I do like for you to defer, personally. In big games, I do. I think if you got a really good defense and you can get a force of 3 and out early, it sets you up for so many other things. You get the ball back at halftime. I'm with you there. When you have a game like this, however, I want you to get the ball first, and I want you to go down there and get 7. Guys, again, we'll talk about this a lot tomorrow. I want you to open this thing wide open. When I'm talking about getting vertical, I'm not saying try to throw a fade route to Barryon Brown every play. I want you to open it up, because then it will kind of show you, like, all right, we can really get this thing moving. You can win a game 17-10. You can win a game 56-55 if you need to. Go prove that you can do it. And I know Louisiana Tech's not necessarily the opponent to really, like, judge yourself off of that. And with all due respect to them, I don't mean that in the wrong way, but it's the truth. However, I look at them and say they have some glaring holes. Pause. They do. Some very glaring weaknesses. The interior of their offense and defensive line is not great. I don't think they're great on the boundary. I don't think that they're good on really either tackle spot. I think their quarterback's really athletic. Really athletic. Go dominate your opponent and stay consistent. If you stay consistent in who you are and you take it to everybody every single day and every single opponent, you're going to be more than fine. Guys, you can start showing teams like, hey, man, Penn State played Nevada this week and dominated them. Michigan. I don't think Oklahoma did that to Illinois State, though. I think Oklahoma's going down. We'll talk about that in a minute. The bottom line is, go take it to them. Just go take it to them, and let's get out of here. And let's lock in for next week. That's what I hope. We're going to be here for the post game. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. We're going to do all of the normal stuff. Let's be honest about what we're trying to do here. And what I don't want, this is what great teams don't do. Let me tell you what great teams don't do. They don't take a team like this and just like, all right, what? They don't nickel state it from a season ago. They go out there and they take it to them, and they're out of there by halftime, and Garrett Nussmeier's coming out in gym shorts. You get what I'm saying? And he wouldn't come out there in gym shorts. They just take his helmet from him, and he'd be on the sideline the whole time. Go do it. You know what we're doing here, and I don't want to disrespect Louisiana Tech. Guys, they were in a dogfight with Southeastern. A dogfight. They were able to separate because Southeastern had 5 turnovers. They had 2 turnovers on downs. They had a fumble, and they had a pair of interceptions. 5 turnovers for Southeastern. Because they were, if you go, the 24-0 is, and Southeastern is horrible offensively. Horrible. They're horrible. I love Frank Selfo. I love my alma mater. They are horrible. Go take it to them. All right. We'll get to Louisiana Tech isn't even crossing the 50. I'm not going to go there because they will. They will. Harm Girl on YouTube says, I thought that Clemson won the toss and deferred. I have no idea. I don't really care. Brandon Reese says, hopefully Hilton has a bounce-back game. I agree with that. Before we get out of here, let's look at week 2 in the SEC. Ole Miss has Kentucky. Ole Miss did not go to the playoff last year because they lost to Kentucky. Kentucky won 24-16 over Toledo. I did not watch that Kentucky game. I know South Carolina went 9-3 in the SEC last year. I get it. That's a whole different situation after almost having to battle against Old Dominion. That's last year. They can't throw the football. Austin Simmons, on the other hand, threw 2 interceptions. And I'm like, you want to keep this game close? Let that young kid keep throwing picks. He keeps throwing picks. They're going to be in games in uncomfortable situations that they don't want to be in. By the way, Georgia State ran for over 190 yards, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves me correctly. 191 yards on Ole Miss. They only gave up 3 points, 190, if memory serves me correctly. I mean, how things can change from week to week, we will see. I think Lane wants to get some revenge. He's going to take it to Kentucky. Alabama. I hadn't talked about it on this show. Boy, a lot of you start looking at Alabama like, man, we can go in there and beat them. You can. You can. They're mortal. You guys, they're not going down without a fight. You got to go take it to them. There's nothing that Bama can do this week versus ULM, though, that would change my mind on them. They got Wisconsin. Wisconsin is god-awful. And then they got Georgia. Think about this for just a moment. There was a narrative coming out before the season about a team like LSU. Hey, Clemson's a really good team, and both of them are very even, or we thought that they were even, and LSU can lose the game against Clemson. There's another part coming into the preseason where a lot of people, not me, thought that you could, and there was a potential that you could lose to Florida, depending on what your offensive line did, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people ask the question, in the month of September, are you going to be 2-2? Because if you are, then your playoff shots are pretty shot. They're shot. But what if that real reality is not LSU's? What if it's Alabama's? Alabama on September 27th goes to the University of Georgia. I don't know, but I would take Georgia to win that game based off of all the information that I have at the current moment. Guys, if Bama is 2-2 coming out of the month of September, oh my God. Oh my God. Boy, that would be something. LSU. We talked a lot about LSU. Go take it to Louisiana Tech. Let's talk about a lot of Florida next week. Michigan and Oklahoma. When I look at this Michigan versus Oklahoma game, it's very interesting to me. Guys, Illinois State outrushed Oklahoma last week. They had troubles, did Oklahoma running the football. Remember that bad offensive line from a season ago with Oklahoma? It might be back. It didn't look good at all. John Mateer made a lot of bad decisions. We will see, man. We will see. I think Michigan's going to go into Oklahoma and win. Can John Mateer be special will be the question. Arizona State and Mississippi State this weekend. Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham has been on one the last couple of weeks. He does not think his team's that great, and he's aggravated by it. Is Mississippi State any good? This has some – stay with me. Unfortunately, in talking points, this game has some playoff ramifications. Let me explain. If Arizona State and Mississippi State is a close game, which I don't know if it's going to be or not, hypothetically, let's act as if this Arizona State and Mississippi State game is close. Let's say it's within 7 to 10 points. And then Mississippi State gets run through the SEC. A lot of people had Arizona State winning the Big 12. Personally, I think it might be Utah. Everybody's fighting for playoff spots and what people believe in strength of schedule. We will see. We will see. Last one we're talking about here, Virginia Tech and Vandy. Well, Virginia Tech got in the second half handled by South Carolina. What is the fighting Diego Pavius going to do? What are they going to do? We'll see. Hold That Tiger says Oklahoma wins that game, Blake. I don't think they do. I really don't think that they do. Guys, hold that tiger. Go watch Oklahoma versus Illinois State. Go watch it. You will not think that. You will not think that at all. So we'll see. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a fantastic night. Peace.